I would say, in my case, credentialing, because some of the partners, or the majority of the partners I'm working with, they, I would not say require, but to some extent they do require me to be on top of things. So you mentioned different assessments, etc. So investing in being certified in different assessments, and also being part of International Coaching Federation and renewing my credentials there and so forth.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to 7 and 8 figures without burning out. Before Purple Circle, I started and scaled several 7 and 8 figure career coaching businesses myself and consulted with 2 career coaching businesses that are now doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or just building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Career Coaching Secrets podcast. Today, my guest is Dennis Larsson. Dennis is an executive coach, leadership trainer, and founder of MOSO International, that is MOSO, where he helps leaders transform their leadership and drive sustainable business growth. With years of hands-on experience coaching leaders across industries, Dennis combines deep leadership insight with tools like Hogan assessments, FireOB, and NLP to help clients navigate challenges, build stronger teams, and lead with confidence. I'm excited to dive into his perspective on leadership and career growth. Welcome to the show, Dennis.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Dennis, tell me a little bit more about what inspired you to become an executive and leadership coach.
Ooh, long story. Um, Born and raised in Sweden, and normally I introduce myself as born and raised in Sweden and put together with an Allen key from IKEA, and giving my boss the long experience, 23 years within corporate IKEA in Sweden. And for various reasons, I decided to quit and moved to Stockholm. I met a new partner in life there back in 2010. So, and there I went on a few assignment as management consulting business. And then one day I came to the conclusion that I was so sick and tired of being the person having all the answers. So, and then I started looking around to see how can I get out of the expert role as an advisor, counselor, consultant. And then I met with some friends, and they said probably you need to look into coaching. So I put all eggs in one basket and went full in on coaching. So I resigned from all consulting missions and went full in on coaching. So neuro-linguistic programming and also the International Coaching Federation trainings.
Mhm. And how does the journey look like from the point that you started your coaching business to where you are at today?
Bumpy is my short answer. No, it's a huge transition. I would say it's a 180-degree change in my career, and it takes some time to really get into it. I mean, you can go on a training, that's one thing, but you also need to get some mileage in the experience. And I've been in and out from different assignments, but it takes some time. And I think one of the key elements is to find your niche. What I mean, as a coach, as a professional coach and trained coach, in that context, from coming from International Coaching Federation, where I also spend lots of time in the Swedish chapter. The craftsmanship of coaching basically means that you can coach anyone, anywhere, in any subject. However, the journey back to really understanding your niche and what is your expertise field of area, so to speak. So it was a little bit bumpy, But a couple of years back, I decided to go for executive coaching and trainings. So that's basically what I'm doing today.
And as an executive coach, is there a specific um, client group or demographic that you're serving, and how do you help them? What transformation do you help them achieve?
I mean, all leadership. Sometimes I speak with people in the context of leadership. What does it mean to be a leader of an organization or a business? And there is a huge difference between a leadership role versus being a purchaser, a salesperson, whatever. With all respect for those professions, as a leader, there are so many things on the agenda, and one key element is communication, which is my favorite area to come down to. How do we communicate in such a way that people listen to what we say, but also that we can build trust, and to be able to coach and lead individuals, teams, organizations, and full organizations and business. And that is it's a huge job. It's a huge responsibility being a leader in today's world, I would say.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I definitely think communication is a very big part of leadership, especially. Um, and where do you like moving into marketing a little bit? Where do you find your clients? Like, what marketing channel works best for you right now?
Currently, or in the last couple of years, my strategies has been to partner with other organizations. But today, the majority of my sales is indirect, so to speak. I partner with other organizations who knows the customers, and having a sales org to support. And that gives me also, sorry, and that gives me also the opportunity being um, free in that sense. I'm traveling a lot with my mobile home, living what people say a minimalistic, no digital nomad life to some extent. But it's really convenient in today's technology that you can just be from anywhere, and just if, as long as you have a decent Wi-Fi, you can connect and reach out to people globally. And hence also my partnership strategy with partnering with organizations on the global space. So it's not just in Sweden or in Europe. It's I have clients from basically all areas of the world.
That's nice. And this is like an independent contractor agreement with the companies. Interesting. And yeah, cool. Is there a specific method that you go about finding these contracts? How do you reach to a point that you have these agreements with these companies? Is there a strategy there?
I would say word of mouth mostly. And one key benefit for me as an independent business owner in that sense is that I partner with so many different organizations. So when one maybe struggle, another one thrive. And also giving that was something I learned when I was working for IKEA for many years. I mean, if one country or continent having struggles, maybe another continent thrive and have a different economy. So the broader you get, and hence my business name, company name, also international, is that I would love to work on and are working on an international base today.
Hmm. So there is no, you'd say there's no active um, marketing yourself either on LinkedIn or um, some form of like on your website or cold emailing these companies for a potential independent contract agreement.
I would say that I've been very fortunate. Some of them I've reached out to, and I would say that the majority have reached out to me. Yes, and LinkedIn is a place where I'm at, and that's where people find me.
Nice. And do you also have clients that you have independently of these companies that just find you directly?
Yes, and more coming, more and more coming, more direct. So
And I believe those are from the referral network of people that you worked for these companies in the beginning.
yeah, but also other people find me because again, I have I've been working on my LinkedIn profile for quite some years. Uh, Coming back to clarity, which I would think we will dive deeper into as a one key element of finding clarity in your niche and building an interesting network with people so that you are positioned both directly and indirectly in front of the right people.
Hmm. But there's no, are you putting out content regularly, or is it just the initial specific setup of the brand in LinkedIn of your profile? So branding your LinkedIn profile has helped with that.
Absolutely, but it's also about I don't I'm not one of those people who are posting every now and then everything that I do because I don't have the time to do that. But I do spend a few minutes every day on LinkedIn to interact with others. So I rather interact with other people's posts than posting myself.
Hmm. Okay, so it's more of like engaging with other posts. So that is a good strategy on its own. And yeah, if when it comes to engaging with other posts, is it you're engaging directly with potential clients you could work with, or um, people in your industry, kind of?
Good question. I would say both, and the post where I interact with is where I can find that I can contribute in one way or another with my insights or experience or thoughts whatsoever. The other day there was one writing something about feedback, etc., etc., and I find feedback a very interesting topic as well to talk about in a leadership context. I would rather sometimes I say I would love to take away the word feedback and replace it with learning opportunity. Hence, people are putting so much negative things into feedback as such. It's a negative. Unfortunately, too many people find that as a little bit tough word. So I rather use learning opportunity instead of feedback. Basically, same. Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
Do you have any goals that you're working towards in the next 1 to 3 years regarding your coaching business?
Yes, and that is coming from the amount of people I'm working with in the executive field and also other type of leaders. So I'm currently crafting. Ah, now I get a visitor. My dog is coming. Yes, yes. Hello, hello. Oh, she's a bit bored. Now crafting a program which I find suits the clients. There are some patterns. So one of the key elements where I've always been working with, even when I was in the corporate world, was to identify which are the patterns. What are the subject that keeps turning up on the agenda every now and then. So I'm currently working on crafting my leadership program uh, with a number of individual one-on-one coaching, but also group coaching sessions and slash training combined to help people reclaim who they were once meant to be, kind of.
No, I meant momentarily, do you do it both? Do you do both group coaching and one-on-one coaching, or you just do?
Both. Depends. Some things can the client or the class customer, whatever we call them, can benefit from group coaching because then we're sharing is caring, right? So the more the merrier. and sometimes it's also about the individual if we will go really, really deep into more transformational changes of beliefs, structures, and value structures, etc.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a really good goal, and thanks for leaning into that. We also learned that you basically do both one-on-one and group coaching. Has it always been the case that you've done both, or?
No, more and more group coaching slash trainings are emerging, I would say. Uh, and again, it comes back to my area of expertise and what I would like to contribute with to the world. Uh, it's what is driving me in that sense is in group coaching, I reach more people on 1 hour versus on how you do it one on one. And scalable, yes, and it's scalable in forms of reaching more people because, again, the methodologies and the patterns I've seen and now developing. And another goal is also to publish a book, which I'm currently writing on goal setting as one topic, which is one of my favorite. Not being an English native person, being a Swedish native person in the beginning, I can't recall how many native English people I've been talking to and trying to get my head around what is the difference between objectives, goals, targets, and directions. And so far, nobody has made it clear to me what is the difference. It's just a number of different words meaning more or less the same thing.
Hmm. Yeah, cool. Well, if everyone knows the difference, or even ChatGPT, you could use ChatGPT in that case. And yeah, but if anyone wants to comment on that, feel free. And when is this book coming out?
During 2025, that's the commitment I have made to myself. So yes, so this year it will be a very short. It will not be a thick book about a number of different theories. It will be very straightforward, very hands-on, pragmatic, telling the methodology of how to successfully set clear goals. And basically, the key element here is the derivability between what we do and the objectives we have, or the goals we have. I've seen so many organizations and or people being worn out by just working, and not reaching their goals because they don't have a goal. And if they have a goal, it's tend to be fairly vague.
Well, whenever that book comes out, you can let me know, and I'll make sure to update the podcast with the link of the book as well. Um, I wanted to ask you also, in terms of investment, what resources or support has been most valuable for you in growing your coaching business so far?
I would say, in my case, credentialing, because some of the partners, or the majority of the partners I'm working with, they, I would not say require, but to some extent they do require me to be on top of things. So you mentioned different assessments, etc. So investing in being certified in different assessments, and also being part of International Coaching Federation, and renewing my credentials there and so forth, which is for me a door opener, I would say.
Especially, especially when it comes to having these contracts with companies, they probably look into these more than, let's say, the client himself, which would not necessarily be aware of the certification. Um,
But it's really helpful to have some kind of, because coaching can be less tangible, more emotional. The tang, I, I'm I like to which will be written in my book about the rational and the emotional parts of things. So it's again about the getting into more rational things, and there assessment can be a really profound way of become a little bit more subjective and less objective. No, I got that wrong. More objective than subjective.
Yeah, I was thinking about the next question too, and yeah, good catch. I wanted to ask you also, what is something that like you wish you had known when you first started scaling your coaching business that was kind of like an unexpected lesson learned for you?
Comes back to clarity, to dare to start small. And when I say start small, is to be really, really pinpointing a target group. In the beginning, I talked about when I got my first trainings and credentials in coaching. I say I work as a coach, and I coach people, and I coach. In that case, it was everybody in any subject, anywhere, which became a struggle when it comes to marketing and sales. So as soon as I niched myself in executive coaching and leadership and business, because they are very tied together as I see it, it became more clear, and I became more clear. I became more clear to who do I work with.
Yeah, so basically you found a lot of value in niching down, which has been the case with actually most coaches. It's just that in the beginning sometimes you want to get clients, right? You want to generate revenue because you have bills to pay. So it's kind of tough to maybe sometimes niche down from the beginning, but generally niching down is always the best option, not just in coaching, but in any industry. Um, what are what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced in scaling your coaching business?
One of the biggest challenges. It's yeah, I can tell in my case, I decided also as a part of my journey, as a growth as a person, I also have decided to downsize. So some people call me a minimalistic person. I don't find myself as a minimalistic person, but with that said, I think I'm 4 suitcases and then I'm good to go with all my personal belongings. So I don't have lots of stuff. I did a project 2016 to 2017 that I should get rid of as much as I can. I'm a strong believer that less is more. And given that, it's also about cutting costs, not consuming that much. And I'm fortunate because I have children, but they're grown up, so they have left the nest. So it's also about making sure that you have a cost budget that is very slim, without being mean in that sense. Which because it can take time. And let me just share very, very shortly. You mentioned my company name Moso International, MOSO, and that is inspired by the Moso bamboo, which is a Chinese bamboo tree that exists for real. And the story behind that one is that when you plant that seed, which is basically the size of a grass seed, slightly bigger, but once you plant that seed in the soil, you need to go and nurture it every day. You need to take away the weed, you need to water it, and you need to nurture the place where you planted the seed. And it can take up to 5 years before it bursts the surface. So that means that you need to have that perseverance to go there every day, to put water on it and to water your plant, so to speak. But when this Moso bamboo, once it bursts the surface, it grows 3 feet per day, 30 meters in 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So, and yep. no, no, it's an interesting, and I was it took me quite a few years to find that name. I knew that there was one plant that behaved this way, but nevertheless, and that's normally because I think the key element here is the rooting, which is the growth, the rapid growth of the sustainable growth of the Moso bamboo is that you have a root system that is super solid. It's easy to go quick and not sustainable. So having that capability and capability to stay away from the instant gratification.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And yeah, after 5 years of like constant work and discipline, you can expect those, um, you can expect the gratification at that point, and that would apply to the business logic as well. Um, how do you currently handle the balance between delivering great client results and managing business growth on the other side? I know you particularly are focused on the um, agreements that you have with these companies, but is that a worry when it comes to like business growth? Is that something that you think you should be working on because maybe some agreements will not last forever, you need to make new ones constantly? How do you feel about that and balancing that with delivering great client results, like doing the day job of coach?
Yes, and I utilize my strength of being super lazy. I normally say laziness is my key driver. So optimizing and taking away as much admin as I can gives me also space for not doing full time coaching or training online. It's more like I have plenty of time to write my book and or to relax on the beach in the south of Spain, which I do during winter time, and enjoying life because again, the way I see life, given that I would probably my ex-wife would probably call me a workaholic to some extent. So it's about finding the balance now. So not working too many hours, but also making sure that you have time to work on your business, not just in your business, which I think is one of the key struggles lots of business owners find. Do you have the time to work on your business, or do you just fully occupied by working in your business?
And how do you do it? Is it like you block your calendar with specific times?
And again, it's a balance, so it's not either or, it's both and. So sometimes I block my calendar for a couple of days, and then I have clients coming in to say, "Hey, I can't find the time," and then maybe I open up. So it's always about finding that balance.
Is there any aspect of running your coaching business right now that would figuratively keep you up at night?
It's more uh, it's more the my ambition level sometimes is bigger, higher than my willingness to work those hours that is required. Hence, when I was younger, I had lots of will and eagerness and time. And the older I get, I will not say wiser, but to some extent, maybe it's finding the good enough level. There is always an opportunity to increase. The question is to which cost? How much are you willing? How much are you willing to sacrifice areas of your life? Coming back to that, I normally, like I said, I think I said it before. It's about personal, relational, and professional, and it's about finding that balance. And I'm fortunate to have people. Yes, and I'm fortunate with having people in my surrounding that pulls me back every now and then when I get too eager.
So basically, like, is like a conflict between your ambition and your drive to have that balance as well at certain.
Yes, yes. No, and again, it's like one of my teachers said that when I change the way I look at things, the things I look at change. And I'm happy and I'm very fortunate to be able to live this life today, the life I live on wheels, more or less.
What advice would you give to, in this case, it's going to be mostly career coaches that are going to be watching this. What advice would you give to them when they're looking to scale their impact?
Maybe the same advice that I give people that I do career coaching with, because that happens every now and then, is maybe not about finding the perfect job or assignment. It's more like crafting your CV based on the dream job that you want to have, rather than just applying for open positions as a career coach, maybe supporting others to apply for whatever. And maybe I'm biased here, polishing your CV. It's about creating what do you want to do, and dare to start small, and be crystal clear. So maybe do you just, oh, you're a career coach, maybe just in not just IT as a domain or industry. What type? So narrow it down, because people want to talk to an expert, right? It's the same thing as you go into the, if you get an injury, let's say that you break your bone, and you go to the hospital. You don't want to meet a doctor who is good slightly about everything. You want to meet the expert on broken bones, right? Even if you can, the craftsmanship of doing more things. I think the key element here is to dare to be super specific.
Well, thank you so much, Dennis. It's been lovely having you on the show. For anyone who wants to connect with you or find you, they can find you at Dennis Larsson on LinkedIn. They could also find you at moso.se or moso.se, which is your website, and they can also connect with you there. Thank you again, Dennis, for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This conversation was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to 7 and 8 figures without burning out. To learn more about Purple Circle, our community, and how we can help you grow your business, visit joinpurplecircle.com.
Yeah, I didn't know that. hmm So it's kind of like